Hello, hello, and happy Black Friday. Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. Today is the Friday Q&A, and I was thinking about canceling this one, but my wife is actually working today. She works in the healthcare industry, so it's not really a holiday for a lot of folks in that sort of public servant sort of role. So she's working today, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and work some today too. And for me, my parents were actually like in that same sort of field. My mom was a nurse, dad was a firefighter, both retired at this point, but they often worked on holidays like on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. So we often had like different schedules. So this is not out of the ordinary for me. And sometimes I like to work. I'm not doing a full day here, but I thought maybe people would be around. So I know we have some people in the chat already, and I believe you could hear me. I've been doing a better job testing the microphone and making sure it's the right microphone selected here. So we have, I'm not even going to try to pronounce some names because it's just not going to work out. So we have, I'll just say Pan. Hello, what's up? And when we have Haman and Sean O2 and my man Simon. Good to see you all on. We have lots of questions that were sent in over the last few days, and I want to point out a couple links real quick. I think hopefully we'll have some more people filter in here in the next few minutes. But thanks for saying hello, and do let me know if you're, just say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're from. Talk amongst yourselves as well. So couple things to mention. Number one, there's an FAQ link. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to me, if you're new to affiliate marketing, definitely want to have a look. Tons of common questions are answered there in more depth than I answer here often. Further, if you're experienced, but you haven't taken a look at the FAQs, usually there's some aspect in there that maybe you didn't think about. Other people have questions, and that can trigger something in your mind. So that's good. Go look at the questions. For hands-on as well. And we also have Blacksmith. We got Michael. What's up? And the other thing is, it is Black Friday, and there's a bunch of deals out there. I'm not... I don't need anything right now, so I'm not buying anything today or going shopping or anything like that. May hit a brewery. I have some friends at breweries, and I also like beer. So those go hand in hand. But for Black Friday deals, if you are if you're watching me now, you may be interested in a couple of the products that I know of that are on sale today. So there's some hosting, there's some plugins, some other tools and stuff like that. So I put a link in the description if you are interested in seeing such deals. I'm not trying to shove it down anyone's throat like so many of the other emails that I've been getting. But that said, if you do need hosting, you need to upgrade hosting or whatever, go take a look at the deals. There's some very good deals, and you actually can do a good job. Later in this presentation, or just Q&A, casual Q&A that we're doing here, I will talk about why I don't do Black Friday deals. So I have my own view on that, and I've gone back and forth, but I'm pretty good with my thought on it. Now, there's the productivity course if you're interested in getting more done in less time. Guest posting service, it is closed right now, but you can sign up for the wait list probably in the next few weeks, maybe a week or so. It's going to open back up. It fills up fast, and I'm sort of throttling things to make sure I don't get overwhelmed. If you're new to affiliate marketing and the niche site process, there's a link there, a couple playlists, and then several questions that I went and I actually looked at questions that were posted on different videos. I could filter for questions, and I snagged those out. I'm going to give people a shout out. So if you do have a question, you're watching another video, type it in there. There's a pretty good chance I'm probably going to see it, most likely. So welcome everyone. And like I said, do say hello. If you're just joining up, I see more and more people are hopping on. Michael is from Miami Beach, much warmer there than it is here. And actually it's not too bad. We got a light dusting of snow, but I think it's supposed to be quite warm today in the 40s. All right. We have Papon, we have Formulaic, and Sean says, I like beer. You never knew. Right. We have Gaz from the UK, and then Trapper, what's up? So thanks everyone for hopping on here. And we took a pretty chill day yesterday. So my wife and I don't have any family in the vicinity for like thousands of miles. Like no, we have no family around here, and we used to live very close to our family, and we did many Thanksgivings where we went to like both families and friends, and they were very busy. So the last couple of years here in Montana, we've actually just been um, not accepting any of the invitations where we may be invited to someone's family dinner or like an orphan type Thanksgiving situation. We just stay here and make a smaller meal, and usually like go for dessert or drinks at a friend's place. And that's what we did yesterday. So we made, a moderate amount of food, got a turkey breast, like the smaller size, and roasted that, had some normal, stuffing and sweet potatoes and stuff like that. And yeah, it was pretty chill. And we cooked a lot of the day. Stress manage, what's up? And Michael down in Miami says it's quite warm, 81 degrees, which maybe it feels chilly. Oh, and Leonard, a neighbor of Michael, apparently down in Miami as well. All right. So we'll get to some of the questions here. And this one was sent in by, let's see, M4HS. Okay. So it says, hi, Doug. Despite what they say, this may indeed be a stupid question. All right. Actually, this is not a stupid question. So thanks for the preface there, acknowledging that it may be an obvious thing. This is not an obvious question here. So M4 says, I'm struggling to understand that if a term gets 0 searches per month, how does the effort of researching and writing that particular article pay off if there's virtually no audience to read it? That is true. All right. So if no one's searching for something, you probably shouldn't go for it, at least not on a wide scale. However, the only time that it makes sense to publish something that gets a 0 search volume is if it's a Google auto suggest or a related search. And you will see those often. The thing is, the search volumes that we see from any tool, they're an estimate. Actually, even from Google, if you're using like AdWords, if you're running ads or whatever, if you have an AdWords account, and you can see the data that Google is telling you, those are also estimates. Every tool uses a different algorithm and a different way of coming up with that estimate. So even Google takes like a 12-month average based on the data that they know, and I'm pretty sure they round to group it in tens, right? So if it averages down to 0, you may actually get 4.5 searches per month. So that would round to 0. So the search volume would be 0. Further, other tools, I'm not 100% sure of the algorithms that they use, like all of them or anything like that, but Ahrefs versus Keywords Everywhere versus SEMrush versus Keyword Revealer or something like that. I think that's another one. They all use different algorithms, and they all may have slightly different numbers or sometimes like kind of big differences. And part of that is if you use like a 12-month running average versus like a 36-month running average or something like that, you're going to end up with a different keyword search volume. So if you see that a keyword is a Google auto suggest, or maybe you're doing research on Quora, or maybe you're using Answer the Public or some other method of research. Maybe you're going to forums and just seeing what people ask questions about, and it's a good topic, then you could publish it. If you find like that most of your topics are 0 search volume, that's bad. You should have some search volume that you're going after, but a few is okay. Again, the really good question on that. Okay. Couple questions for the people in the chat here, I see, and feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll be hopping back and forth as we hit a lull in the live conversation here I'll go over to the ones that were sent in. Okay. We have Pan from beautiful Greece. Probably reasonably warm there, right? Okay, Stress Manage says your affiliate site is earning $1,000 a month and it suddenly lost the rankings for some important stress-related keywords. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. I would imagine it's probably related to the it's like slightly like health medical related, and I assume that's probably why the issue is coming up, which is not good. But basically, I'm drafting, and I'll probably like next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, just a few days away, I'll publish like my thoughts on increasing the like expertise, authority, and trust, or EAT, as people are referring to it, on your site. So there's probably a couple things you can do. It'll probably take a little while for it to like pan out, and there's no like quick fix for that. Okay. Usama says, how much content length should we have? So it depends, but generally I would say at a minimum for most keywords, probably 1,000 words. And if it's a bigger topic, make it longer. If it's a simple topic, like what's the elevation of Denver, Colorado, then you could answer that pretty quick. It's 5,280. Okay. As far as length, I also, I think I cover some aspects of content in the FAQ section. So Usama, I recommend you go take a look at that as well. Blacksmith says, you think it's not worth the effort. Okay, I respect your opinion, and that's fine. Some of the best keywords that I've found are indeed zero search volume keywords. But if you don't like to do it, I'm not saying you need to. Okay. Michael says you're starting to hire writers using my template for Upwork. The question is, what's the reason to have the writers write 2 500 to 700 word articles? Doesn't it make sense to just have them write one article? Sure. That is a starting point. So the template is a starting point, and that was at a time when I was trying to like have shorter articles, most likely. However, I will add, it's kind of interesting to get them to write 2 things, meet their deadline, and maybe I can like have them write 2 shorter pieces, maybe for a shorter topic, and get more like experience with them writing. We have more interaction and stuff. If you want them to write more, that's cool. You can have them write more. You can have them write 1 article, whatever you want to do. So yeah, it's just a starting point. You have full like flexibility to do whatever you think you should do if you have a better idea. Okay. And Melodious Luffy says Miami. Yeah, Miami is apparently the place to be. Okay, Stress Manage also says you're getting loads and loads of bot traffic from China. Is that the reason the keyword ranking is dropping? I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that, but there could be something related to it. I'm not sure. All right. Simon's a good guy here. Simon Graham says, you often say it takes longer to rank keywords with higher local monthly searches. That's true. I do say that. So if the all-in title is 6, does it matter whether the local monthly search volume is 250, 500, or 1,000? Will it take longer for them to rank in those cases? So I haven't done a test on this, and my answer is yes, though. I think it will take longer. And if you go, let's make it a little bigger, right? Let's say 10,000, right? Let's say one of them has a local monthly search volume of 10,000. Most likely, I think this would be a hard test to run, right? Because you would have to run the test in different, like, just niches and topics, and you would also need to do this multiple times. You'd have to do it all over the place. So I'm making my assumption based on my observations from my sites, from other sites, and it's all anecdotal. That said, I'm pretty sure it takes longer to rank higher search volume terms, even if the all-in title is 6 for each of them. if the all-in title is 6 for, let's say, a 5,000 LMS, right? Versus a uh, all-in title where it's like 4,000 and it's a 5,000 local monthly search, I think you'll probably be able to rank the lower competition one, the one with all-in title of 6. We're going very deep here, but Simon's a student of the course, so he knows what I'm talking about. So if you go, if you're comparing those two, you could probably rank faster. But if you're comparing like the search volumes, I think the lower search volumes are going to rank quicker generally. Suresh says, what hosting is best? I don't know. I think hosting is a commodity. I think there are some probably bad hosts, but I think if you find like generally the hosts that are pretty good, that they cost a little bit more, probably you'll get better service and everything's great. I use SiteGround, and in fact, today I logged into, I think you could probably do this with some other hosting companies, by the way, but I logged in and I turned on, what do you call it? It's like on demand, like auto scaling. So if I hit 75% of my memory usage, or if I hit 75% of my CPU usage, I can like order more, like on demand. It'll on the fly, it'll detect it, and then I think I selected to get 2 more cores and 2 more like gigabytes of memory if I hit that 75% capacity, because I don't want to have any issues, right? So this is the big time of the year. Really want to make sure the site's loading fast and all that stuff. So I just want to make sure everything's good to go. And I noticed actually last Sunday, like traffic spiked like pretty high and then sort of tapered down a little bit. But the last couple of days have been kind of bananas, like Wednesday, Thursday. Today is going to be crazy, and probably through the rest of the rest of the year. Not quite the rest of the year, all the way up until the 24th. It's going to be pretty awesome. Okay. So nice questions over here. And quick favor, if you have the opportunity to give a thumbs up, would really appreciate it. And we have next. So Suresh, most hosting is fine. I like SiteGround personally, but there's a bunch of others out there. Melodia says, you have a question. How can you start to get ideas for a blog? What would be my best tips for beginners? Okay, so number one, go to, there's a link in the description. It's the niche site process. And I talk about some brainstorming stuff in that area, but I would recommend, brainstorm, come up with a bunch of ideas, go look at, I'm going to assume an Amazon affiliate site. Go look at Amazon, browse around at different categories. You'll probably find that there are whole like subcategories that are huge that you didn't even like have any idea that they existed at all. So have a look at that stuff. However, I will say it's great if you have some interest in a certain thing. Like I always talk about beer. It'd be great if I had a segment on YouTube where I drank beer and answered questions. Maybe I had people send me beer. That'd be cool, right? I think that would be awesome. Is that a good idea? Leave a comment if you're watching this later. If you would send me a beer and then I would drink it and answer questions about internet marketing or the beer or whatever you want me to answer. Because that would be good. I'm limited with the beers I can get here, but yeah. So somehow that question led me to talk about myself and drinking beer, which happens from time to time. So brainstorming and just finding something that you're interested in is good, and it's always I think if your goal is to create a site so that you can earn some money on the side, it's very important to have the goal in mind. So is it going to be a topic where you can consult with people and people will pay you like one-on-one to help organize their closet or something like that, right? So are you going to do that? Are you going to have ads on your site? Are you going to create an Amazon affiliate site, which is what I usually talk about? And if so, just keep that in mind. So if you want to have an Amazon affiliate site, then you need to make sure the topic like supports it. So there are topics where there's not really that many products around it because it's kind of just maybe it's more informational based. So, all right. So good questions there. Again, if you have the opportunity to hit the thumbs up, and if I answer your question, that'd be awesome. Oh, Duke's on. Thanks. Good to have you on. Welcome, Duke, the moderator. All right. Simon says the best hosting, a SiteGround that helped you so much and did everything for free. Excellent customer service. Yeah, super good customer service. And they have a great deal going on today if you follow that Black Friday deal. Link in the description. Okay. Michael says, do you think it's important or if it really matters if your affiliate site has an SSL certificate? I think it's becoming more important, and I think I would, yeah, if your site doesn't have much traffic right now, or even if it doesn't have much traffic right now, go ahead and move it over. At this point, like Google is placing like a little bit more importance, and I mean, in general, if you're not like accepting any inputs, any information, it's not as critical. But I think a lot of people use Chrome, and Chrome is a lot of times will have like the little unlocked padlock, and that's not as great. All right. O2 says, Doug, I posted my first ever post 2 days ago, used the KGR and went for a 10 search volume. It looks like Google has ranked it on Google and it's number 2 in the olive title. Nice. Very good. Oh, and Thomas says you created a gift list post as I suggested. Let's see what happens over the next 32 days. Yeah, do let me know. Let me know about that. I hope it does work out. Blacksmith said you would drink beer with me sometime. Awesome. Maybe we could all do like a live stream group drinking situation. Not sure if that violates some kind of thing here. All right, Jared, what's going on? O2 says you haven't got any traffic yet. How long do I think it'll take? I'm not sure. It's always, if it's only been 2 days, just be patient. It could take a while. But I will tell you, so I mentioned this on a live stream the other day. New site that I started in mid-October. Already getting traffic. I published like 15 posts or so, and basically a handful of the KGR posts ranking on the first page, which is great. And then a student of mine started her site around the same time as well. She's already getting some traffic. I think she has more content published on her site, but she's already made a couple sales and was accepted into the affiliate program already. So it's really like how much effort are you going to put in a short amount of time? But that said, it takes like 6 weeks. It took us 6 weeks, right? It took us a little while to get going there. All right. Next. Lipstick says, how much am I making from Amazon affiliate? So I don't share my earnings, but there are several success stories on the channel, and that's just a personal choice of mine. I know other people share their earnings a lot, but I choose not to. Paul says, how long does it take for a KGR to rank for a brand new site? Still in the sandbox. It depends. And when you say rank, if you mean like in the top 15 or so, it can happen in weeks, right? Not all of the posts are going to rank right away. Also, if you mean when is it going to rank number 1, it could take a little while. I think one of the posts that I was referencing, I think it's like number 4 or something, and it's only a few days old, 20 days old, something like that. Maybe not quite that much. So it can take a little while to move up, and over time it'll move up as you do like more work. Like if you publish more content and that content is ranking, and then if you do some promotion for your site and you get some traffic that way via the promotion, then maybe you can rank a little faster. All right. Yeah, Sean says Carnage on the group drink. Jared says you like AWP on the list. It looks nice. Yeah, it looks. I think it's a good plugin. I've been using it a little bit more here recently in the last few weeks. And the other plugin to have a look at is Amalinks Pro. So one of my friends, Matt Allen, and the Alchemy Coder got together and they're working on this plugin. It has like the core set of functionality. They're adding table functionality soon, and right now they're having kind of a crazy deal where I think it's these plugins nowadays they basically you have to buy in, and then each year you usually need to renew. So for this Black Friday sale, they are just having a one-time purchase. So like you buy it, and then you don't have to pay for it anymore. And a few years ago when I was like putting together my tools and stuff like that, I did get a couple of these deals on like a Black Friday situation where I paid like, I don't, the tools don't matter by the way, but I paid like $100 and I don't have to pay for that tool ever again. And I think now the annual subscription is like $120 a year or something like that. One of the themes that I use, I got the developers package like back in the day. So it was, I don't know, 5 or 6 times more expensive, but now I use that theme on a lot of my sites, and I don't have to pay renewal fees, which now every year a person would have to pay another $200 or something like that. And I got the whole thing for $250 like 5 years ago. And I'm still getting updates and all that stuff. So okay. So a couple other questions. We have Izzy on. So lipstick and fashion said, what can I tell you about promoting Amazon products only on social media and not on a website? I mean, I have almost 1 million monthly views on Pinterest and wonder what you think. Okay. So Duke, feel free to answer some stuff here. I don't know. That's the answer to my question. I don't like social media at all. So I try and stay away. And that said, I try not to, I don't know anything. I stay out of it basically. So I have no idea. I imagine if you have a 1 million monthly viewers, then you have some room to test. So I think you should test it out and figure out a way to promote it, but I have no idea. All right, Alwayne says you started a new site. It's a week old. You're getting 2 visitors a day. Fantastic. And I think, Alwayne, how many sites have you created in the past? And I think this is key to point out. So if you're brand new and you're like, oh, how long will it take for me to get traffic? Be patient. It'll probably take a little while. Everything is going to take longer than you think. Additionally, once you create a few sites and once you have some experience, then it'll be faster. Like I'm pretty sure Duke could start a site. Duke would be able to get content published a little more quickly. He would have a theme he knows he wants to use. He'd be able to promote the site in various ways that he knows is like that will work. That's what I'm trying to say, and basically get traffic a little faster. I just started a site not too long ago, and it's getting a few visitors a day, and it's working fine. And it's like out of season, right? It's a seasonal site, and it's way out of season. So, okay, some of the other questions that were sent in here. Bernardas says, do I use bullet lists in my articles? The answer is yes. I use ordered lists and unordered lists and tables and like formatting all over the place. So yes, I do. Karim says, is it a good idea to pay for guest posts on other websites? Can it make any harm, or should I stay away from this approach? Generally, that is going to be frowned upon. Google would not like that if you're paying to have a link placed. So Google will not like that. I would say if you are trying to do outreach or trying to do some guest posting and the people that you're approaching are asking for payments, if you want to try it, I'm not suggesting that you do, but if you want to try it, I would say do it on a very limited basis. And if you have an issue, I would make sure it's less than like 10% of your overall links. All right. So the reason for that is if you have any issues with those links, you can disavow them and you would still have 90% of your other links there. Again, I don't recommend that you do that, but it is an option if you want to explore it, right? Again, it's against the Google Webmaster guidelines. They wouldn't like it if you're paying for links or anything like that. What I would suggest instead is to spend more time building the relationship with the blogger that you're trying to guest post with. If you are like adding value to the relationship and you have taken the time to share some of their content or link to some of their content or let them know that you read their blog and just build the relationship, then they're way less likely to ask you for a fee. So this is definitely the rule of reciprocity, and you would need to, do something nice for them or several things that are nice, and then you'll be able to probably avoid even being asked to pay anything. Okay. Thank you, Duke. Looking forward to the email. No need to spend a ton of time. Just a couple bullet points would be fantastic. And Duke is dropping some wisdom about the Pinterest stuff. So Duke is using Pinterest to drive traffic to the website, not directly to Amazon. You've seen that pins directly to Amazon do not get as many repins as others, so it would be hard. Good to know. All right. Jared says, how about working during the day versus the nighttime for productivity? So, yeah, everyone feel free to put in your comment what you think there. By the way, if you have the opportunity to give a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic. It looks like we got about 17 here. And if you're watching the replay later, you can also give a thumbs up, leave a comment. Those are good. For me, I definitely work better like in the morning time frame, or if I am like trying to put in more hours and stuff, usually I get another like burst of energy like 12 hours later. And I've read several books on productivity and like sleep and the I forget the word. I could picture the word, but our daily like cycle, our energy level starts with a C. I'm like losing it halfway through. Someone will tell me here. But basically, I get a burst of energy like from 7 a.m. to, I don't know, like 10 or so. And then again, probably at like 7:30 to like 10:30 in the evening. And in the evening, I usually try and throttle down and obviously go to bed. But if I am trying to work, I can actually get a decent amount done in the evening time frame. So also, if I just like shift my day around, I could probably work pretty well like late at night. But I prefer to have like the daylight time. So what about everybody else? Guys says you like Answer the Public. It integrates really well with keywords everywhere. Yep. I think my friend Alex over at WP Eagle has a video on that specifically in our KGR Masterclass. Link in the description for that. Owen says you've created 8 sites and you've sold 3, but you're a bit gray hat. You do 50-50 gray hat and white hat. Gotcha. All right, Izzy says you'll be in the States during Christmas. It'll be your privilege to meet me. Well, I live in a very remote area, so I doubt you'll be anywhere near me. Where will you be, Izzy? Okay, and more questions. Michael says, how does a no-follow link work and why should or shouldn't we use them? So there is an FAQ. Oh, actually, it's not an FAQ, but if you follow the niche site process link, and I think there's a link building section, maybe like part 4 or 5, have a look there. I talk a little bit about no-follow links. Generally, no-follow doesn't pass the sort of like vote or link juice over from whatever site is using it to whatever is linked to. Michael, you should just Google when you should or shouldn't use them. But at a high level, if you are, if it's like an advertisement or a paid link, or a paid ad placement or any sort of thing like that, like I guess like a sponsored post, then you should use nofollow. Generally, it's accepted to not follow your affiliate links. Generally, I think Google understands what the affiliate links are now. So I think years ago it was a little more important, but that's generally the case for nofollow. There are other times when you can use them. There are other times when you shouldn't use them. And again, if you just Google it, you'll get a more thorough answer. Okay, God says within 2 hours you found 8 to 10 long tail KGR terms, and they could all be used as article headings. Awesome, getting into it there. O2 says, have you or anyone in the comments had an issue with a sitemap that contains a URL that's blocked by robots? No. What affects traffic to your site? I don't know, potentially. Jared does say the pages could be created by a plugin. Job says, do I use Amazon native ads? Generally, no. Do they make a big difference in earnings? Not for me. I didn't find them to be very useful, but other people love them. So I would say test and see how it works out for you. All right. And I'm not sure, there was a retracted message, but it looks like there's some conversation. Phones are from the devil. Oh, a couple things. There's some questions here, which I'll get into in a second. But I will say that one thing I've done here recently is I've just turned my phone on do not disturb like 24 hours a day, unless you're a family member. And it's been nice. I was getting several calls a day from like auto dialers, or I don't know. There's all sorts of people calling me. And a lot of times I just didn't want to even have the phone ring so I could ignore it or unsubscribe, because some people were telling me, oh, you just have to press 2 and they'll take you off the list. And I'm like, no, I don't even want to get anything. And I was thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad one, but I was thinking, what if I just like change my phone number every couple of years and just give it out? I mean, I don't talk on the phone much at all. And I get a lot more noise and chatter on email and like that sort of thing. If it's just family members, it's pretty easy to just say, hey, I changed my phone number. Here it is. But if I change my phone number every couple of years, that's great. I don't have to, I mean, they'll be chasing me around. It's an idea. I don't know. It could be kind of a pain there, but all right. Melodious says, the Google Keyword Planner doesn't give you the exact number of searches. What tool do you recommend for the KWG? I think you mean the KGR, maybe. And do I have any idea in which topics the KGR apply very well? So the tool doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want. I recommend you go to the Keyword Golden Ratio playlist. There's a link in the description, or you could just search for it. And there are several tools you could use. The free option that I would recommend is Keywords Everywhere. It's a free plugin, so you could just download it, get it set up real quick. I have a video on using it, I think, in that playlist. As far as the topics where the KGR works well, generally, it doesn't matter. You could find long tail keywords for any topic. Yeah, circadian rhythm. That's right. Thanks. I was like circ, and then I lost that. Michael says you're a night owl and you do some work in the daytime and then the rest late at night. Cool. All right. So Wrestling Empire's on and you're late. That's okay. You could always rewind and watch the other part. So I'm trying to remember here. Do I have a link? I didn't put a link in here for the podcast that I do with my wife, but there's a couple more general topics. It's called Survive the 9 to 5. We talk about like the corporate world, and I used to have a corporate job before I got laid off. So we talk about like corporate politics and like getting promoted and traveling or not traveling or working remotely or whatever. And the last couple episodes actually have been about productivity. So we talk about like general productivity. We talk about project management a little bit, sort of a very high level discussion on it. But do check it out. It's called Survive the 9 to 5. You should be able to find it on like most of the podcast what do you call it, directories, podcast directories. You should be able to find it on most of them. So if you just search for Survive the 9 to 5, you should find it. Just a handful of episodes out there, about 10 or so, and I've kind of wanted to keep it a little quiet, so I'll mention it here and there. But it takes some time for anything to like develop the skill and like get used to doing whatever it is that you're doing. So the first few episodes were we're a little nervous. We didn't know what to do. We like podcasts, and I have for like a decade. Various topics that I got into over time. But the thing is, we wanted to do it, and now I think we're getting a little bit better. The last couple episodes have been much better, required much less editing. So do check it out. Would really appreciate it. And if you wanted to leave a review, that'd be fantastic as well. So next, Wrestling Empire says, should I only comment on blog posts that are related to your last post? Because I usually comment on blogs with comment love, so they give a link back to your last post. Wrestling Empire, this is going to blow your mind. So all you need to do, the answer is no, or you could do whatever you want. But if you want to get a link to a different post, all you have to do is change the date on the post to be the most recent one, and boom, problem solved, right? So you could do whatever you need to do. And I recommend that you switch it up so you don't get all your links to the same exact place and stuff like that. Wesley says, supposed to be some apps out there that auto block robot callers for you. I have heard a little about that, and I kind of looked a little bit, and then I was just thinking, F it. I am just going to block everything and see if there's any like repercussions. So far, so good. And it also means like generally I'm disturbed less because I don't need my phone to, bug me. But Wesley, do you get a lot of those calls? I mean, I was getting like 3 a day, like every day, every single day. And I have my phone number is still an Atlanta number. So they were calling during like, I guess like Atlanta Eastern time zone, right? So I was getting calls at like 6 a.m. sometimes, which is bananas to me. Okay, Echo's on. What's up? Okay, Thomas says, how important is the title of the post in regards to SEO? I would say a lot to vary. You're specifically talking about inside of WordPress. If your keyword is best ballpoint pen for kids, does it have to be an exact match in the title? No, it doesn't, but it's very important. So I would suggest you use most of those words, if not all, but feel free to pepper in some other topics or other words as well within there. Okay. So let's see here. Anthony, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome. You ask, have I tested my sites with the new Google page speed test? All the sites that used to rank pretty decent are now terrible with their new ranking. Don't know if you have the same problem. I'm not sure. No, I haven't. I was taking I usually just check on Pingdom is where I would check like one of my posts and just see how long it truly takes to rank. I'll look on my phone and just see on there too. So that's usually what I do, but I haven't paid much attention to these new page speed test. Has anyone else, by the way, out in the crowd? Okay. And Wesley says you always wait for this is the auto callers and stuff. So you always wait for them to finish and wait for their no call option. Now you rarely get them. See, and I did that for a little while, but I wasn't sticking to it enough. And yeah, I don't know. The only other thing that I would potentially do is actually answer them and then just try and waste their time, which is, I don't know. I think that says more about me than anything else. But I'm like, oh, you're going to waste my time and call me all the time. I will get you on the phone and just run them around a little bit. Um, Okay, Gaz says, as for hosting, you're currently with HostGator, but one of your bigger sites is getting throttled badly for speed. And you're looking at migrating to SiteGround too. In SiteGround, I mean, you can get in for cheap. Usually they'll have like a first year promo. It's fairly expensive, but like I said, the customer service is phenomenal. It's crazy. And Simon mentioned it just earlier. Like they'll move everything over for you. Really. Like sharp people that are doing the customer service, and they're also admins and they have the tech side, so they could actually really help you versus some of the other companies I've worked with. Customer service is just reading a script and they're telling you generally, correct information, but it may not be helpful, especially if, for example, you're getting a lot of traffic and you need help to fix something. Pretty important to like take care of that stuff. Okay. Pan says, how important is the domain name of an Amazon affiliate blog, not an eShop? Not super important, I would say. Not very important. Okay. Getting through them. Getting through all this. So O2 says, when we do keyword research for the keyword golden ratio, is there like keywords we should find that have some sort of an intent, or just go with whatever keyword you find? It depends on what your goal is. So if your goal is to find buyers who want to go to Amazon and buy something, then yeah, buyer intent. If you want to find keywords that are informational to just get traffic onto your site and get um, like some love from Google, then it doesn't matter as much. So with most things, you should have an understanding of what you're trying to do. And if you know what you're trying to do, then you could select keywords better. You could figure out how to plan your day better. You can understand like the big picture. So it depends. And Duke says, in my opinion, there's no reason for people to use slow hosting. If you can't afford SiteGround, then you're in the wrong business. Get a part-time job. Well said. And let's see. Anthony says, don't waste your time with A. And I'm not sure to what reference that is. But I also got an interesting question. Someone sent in a question, and I think maybe I hurt their feelings a little bit. I'm not sure. But they said, hey, I'm looking, like I'm trying to figure out like some link building, something or other. Trying to find like cheap ways to get great guest posts, right? They said in their email to me, they said, I don't have much time. I got a job, family, kids, pretty busy. And I was wondering if there's like a fast track shortcut to like get more guest posts and, get rankings faster. I don't think I'll have enough time to like do it. And I started to answer and I took a step back and I thought, this person has found a site that they wanted to create. And they did some analysis and they thought, hey, it's going to take X amount of time for me to do this in order for it to be successful. But then they also, in the same thought process, came up with the idea that they don't have enough time to be successful. So now they're looking for a shortcut. And I was thinking, they need to find something else to do. Like if you are already making the assessment that you probably can't be successful based on something so specific like time, it's probably just not going to work for you. Like you are going to fail. It's not going to work. If you figured out it takes 100 hours and you only have 80 available, then it's going to fail. And probably you're not going to be able to figure out a shortcut, especially over people who are ahead of you. So I recommended, or I do recommend, if you're in that position, like take another approach. And maybe he'll be fine, right? Like there's some failure points along the way, but if he already knows he doesn't have enough time, that's a bad idea. Bad idea. Okay. Okay, Thomas says, your last question of the day. How can you stop yourself from looking at Google Analytics and Amazon Associates dashboard every hour on the hour? So for now, I would say for this time of year, just go for it, give in to the temptation and just look at it. Or you could turn off your computer or your phone and then that'll help you out. Okay, and Duke says John Haver, or do you mean John Dykstra at Fat Stacks, did a great article on hiring writers. John Haver writes at Authority Website Income, and Fat Stacks is John Dykstra. Both good guys. Okay. Jared says something. Okay. Conversations. Oh, Anthony uses autocaller. Use a robot killer app that creates a conversation with a spammer with a pre-recorded message. All right. Yeah, good conversations here. Steven's on. What's up? So Wrestling says, what kind of posts should I promote more as your last post while blog commenting? The info articles or product reviews? Whatever you think is best. There's no prescription for that. And Anthony says the auto caller bot, it'll waste their time as long as possible so they're not spamming other people. That's pretty funny. Kelvin, what's going on? Another fine student of the 5-Figure Niche Site course. Okay, and Wrestling Empire, always full of lots of questions here. So you're getting a lot of views and visitor stats in your WordPress stats tab, but Google Analytics is not showing anything. So I think your question is, why is there a mismatch? And the answer is, I don't know. If you are not getting any traffic on Google Analytics, that probably means it's not set up properly. That is probably what that means. So, okay, I think I may have another couple questions here that were sent in. So TomArmstrong says, I really like your videos and you work as an affiliate myself. What do I think about the quality of content that affiliates produce? Isn't most of it fake reviews and quote junk? Not taking the high horse, I'm guilty of that myself, but what's the value for the visitor? How do I get around this problem? All the best. Tom, good question. I think some affiliate sites are publishing bad content, not very informational, not helpful. And a lot of times those will end up having like, let's say there are 5 products and all of them will be like super positive reviews. And that's, no negative points are ever brought up and low credibility. And I think in the long run, those are not going to work out that well. For me, I try and do like high quality content for the most part. And then I was going to say, I actually have published like not as great content when I've been on like very fast content sprints where I'm publishing a whole lot. But at this point, I'm going back and like fixing things and then improving them. I'm going through and adding FAQ sections using the RPM. You can look it up on the channel if you haven't heard of that. But basically, you can go back and improve it. As far as like providing value to a visitor, I believe that if you are able to, uh, I guess, help curate a list of a lot of products, it can be helpful for a visitor. For example, and I'll go on a tangent in a second, but I recently ordered like one of those Zoom uh, H4n Pro, which I'll talk more about in a second. But it's a recorder. I could plug in my microphones, like this one right here. I could plug in microphones and record into that without hooking up my laptop here, without tying up the laptop. And there's a lot of different recording devices. And if you just typed in like digital recorder, XLR input on Amazon, there'd be a whole lot of them recommended. Like almost too many to sort through. There's different models from Zoom and Tascam and like all these other products, or like fill in the blank, right? Digital camera, right? Digital SLR, you're going to get a ton of different recommendations if you just search on Amazon. However, if you end up on an affiliate site, they may be able to curate the list and tell you like, hey, if you're trying to start a YouTube channel and you already have like X camera system, then here's a great one that you could upgrade to and still utilize a lot of your other equipment. Or if I'm looking for like a XLR digital recorder and I need 2 inputs, like they can curate that list as well. So that, in my opinion, is where the value comes from. All right. Tima says, after changing your theme a couple of weeks, your site moved from number 1 to number 11. What should I do? I would revert it back to what it was. Hopefully you backed it up before you moved and you'll just be able to roll it back. I would I would have recommended to do that before the retail season so that that's what can happen if something happens like that and you do it during the retail season. It could cost you some money. And Wesley says, you've had the most success hiring writers using my technique. Thanks for saying that. There's a blog post on that topic. Yeah, I think there's even a few. And it's just a starting point. Once you start doing it yourself, you'll develop your own rhythm and stuff like that. Duke reminds people to hit the like button. It looks like we just have 21, which is kind of on the low side, but it is Black Friday and everything. People are buying stuff. Anthony says, what do I recommend for people who are in the labor service industry and they want local results when their site goes live? I have literally zero experience in that. So I don't know. But I would suspect in that case, you probably could lean on social media more. I expect that maybe Facebook would be pretty good because of the targeting that you can do. As far as like ranking, I think it's all this. I just have like the same principles that I apply across the board. Again, no experience with local, but I believe that a lot of the same ideas would come into play there. So I would do that. All right. Other conversation here. Blacksmith says, can I write reviews about supplements like multivitamins, probiotics, and stuff? Is that a good idea? I don't know. I've never looked into that, but I know there are sites about supplements. I would suggest that you go through the process of analyzing the competition, understanding what you're ranking for, what you're trying to make money at specifically. If you're going to work with like another affiliate program or Amazon or whatever. Because you're asking the question the way that you mentioned it there, I'm going to say, no, that is not a good idea for you at this point, because it sounds like you haven't done the prerequisite research to know if that's a good idea. However, if you're like super into supplements and probiotics and all that stuff, then perhaps it's a great area. If it's like a passion of yours, which some people are into, then yeah. Fort Knight says, do I have any experience creating ebooks for my blog? No. I take that back. A small amount. Small amount. You're thinking of producing a free Kindle ebook and putting it on Amazon and then linking back to your site. Is it a good idea? Yay or nay? I think it'd be really cool to try. I don't know if it's going to work great or not that great. If you, if you, I guess, follow or talk to people who are big on Kindle publishing, they will tell you it is a fantastic idea and you should definitely get into Kindle publishing. I think you potentially could get some followers back to your site, generate some traffic, but also you would create some authority in the overall niche as well. So Tima says, so overall, ebook, sure, it's worth a test if it's not going to put you out too much. So if you did the work required and it totally flopped, would you feel really bad about wasting the time? If so, then you could skip it because it could totally flop. But if it works out, it'll be great, and you'll learn something along the way. Tima says, the old theme was very problematic and you changed it. Is reverting back the only way? No, you can stick it out. So I don't have enough details here, but if the only thing that changed was the theme and it dropped from number 1 to number 11, chances are like it was the theme. However, we don't know a lot, right? How long has it been? Has it been like 6 weeks? Has it been 6 hours or what? Sometimes it takes some, time for a site to recover after a change is made. Generally, like changing themes shouldn't really make a huge difference. So something else must have happened related to the change. So it could have been with some of the I guess metadata information or something like that, or something sort of buried in the script or header of the theme. But if you're going from a bad theme to a good one, it should have helped, right? I don't know. All right. Wrestling Empire says, do I think you should do broken link building while you're doing blog commenting, or should I only do one at a time? So Wrestling Empire, there's a section on these type of questions in the FAQ area. In fact, I'm going to click on it so I could just tell you about it. So this is what I refer to as, quote, permission type questions. So a couple of examples are, should I start an Amazon affiliate site? It seems like there's so many out there already. Or I found a great keyword, but the search volume is whatever. Should I go for it? And you're asking questions to get permission from me. And the fact is, it really doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. Do something. Do anything. So if you want to do broken link building, go do broken link building. More power to you. If you have enough time to do it while you're doing blog commenting, do it. If you only want to work on one thing at a time, work on one thing at a time. It literally doesn't matter. And I don't really care. There's no answer to it. And if I tell you to do one thing and it didn't work out as well as you thought, then you think, Doug doesn't know what he's talking about. He told me to work on both of them, but it's too hard. Or vice versa, if you just work on one and you're like, I should be doing the other. So I can't make the decision for you. I can't make the decision for anyone. And I haven't. I don't think it's an either or in that situation. And that kind of question isn't helpful for you. And if I told you the answer, it's not helpful at all. So you have to figure it out for yourself. You have to look at the pros and cons. And I would never put those two together and say, I'm comparing this versus that. What do I do? So I don't know the answer to your question, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Okay. Papa says, a couple months ago, you started a brand new site. It has 4 articles. One of them is a KGR and one ranks number 1 already. Thanks for the advice. Awesome. Great job. Keep up the good work. Publish more stuff, Publish more stuff. Tima says it's been over a week since it dropped. Okay. I don't know. You're really puzzled. Better theme, better results. You're puzzled. It was fine for 3 weeks. Okay. So it dropped. It dropped. So it was fine for 3 weeks and then it dropped a week ago. So is it, if it's related, it could be an algorithm thing too. Your site could have just been hit by some of the EAT type stuff, but I'm unsure. Okay. Where did we go? Varun says east or west. I think everything has pros and cons. Anthony says, for those who are just launching sites before the holidays, any recommendation to get articles seen the fastest without having to pay for advertising? Yeah. So this is one of those shortcut kind of questions. So you can try to share on social media and stuff like that, and that would be a way to get eyes on it faster without having to rely on the rankings. But you're trying to, get traffic without paying. So something has to give. So where is the value added potentially in the social area? If you are, if you could write some engaging posts on Facebook, for example, and they sort of take off, we can get some traffic that way. Okay. Oh, and Jared says, Tima, search Avada images not indexing. There have been complaints about that theme. Okay. Shantanu says the easiest technique to build links. Question: do you want the easiest technique or do you want the most effective, or what are you really looking for here? All right. Okay, Wrestling Empire says, in one of my videos, I mentioned that people follow too many methods and techniques and they failed because of that. That's true. I agree with that. So the answer, the answer is, if you're asking permission from me, you're not going to get a very good answer. If you want to work on both things, you can work on both things. Do I think you should? Probably not. I think broken link building is a terrible way to build links, but I've never done it before. And generally, when I've seen people talk about it, it's not really for affiliate type sites, just generally. It's usually like an industry site or something bigger, right? So it can work for affiliate sites, but I think the effort that you have to put out is probably a lot more than for the blog commenting. And basically, yeah, if you try and follow too many things and do too much at once and you can't handle it, then it's not good, right? So you have to understand what you can do. All right. Alwyn says, what do I think about social signals? Do I think it's necessary? I usually buy them for a new site. I don't really mess with social signals. I think it's a good measure to take. I think probably, I'm not 100% sure, but I think probably buying them is probably not the best way to do it. And like most stuff, if you can naturally get some engagement, that's going to work out better. You may be able to do that. Here's like the nugget now that we're 70 minutes in here. Here's the nugget of wisdom. Maybe I should do a video on this. Maybe I'll write it down. But if you can, for example, create a post where, let's say it's the top 10 like Instagram or Facebook groups or influencers to follow, and then you write a little blurb about them. You feature, 10 people from each of those spaces, and then you just let them know, right? They're engaged in whatever social media that you're saying they're good at, and you just let them know that you feature them, and then there's a chance they may share it. You may not get much traffic from it, but that's a share on your site. And it was free to create, basically, other than your time, to write a little blurb about like that specific influencer. So there's a good idea to like engage people that are active on social without having to pay for it, and it's organic, and you may get a little bit more like juice from it. All right. I'll just say Varun. Varun, you really want to know effective, not easy. So effective, I would say guest posting. Do guest posting. There's like several videos and like 30 guest posts on my blog. So just have a look there, and you'll get all the templates you need and examples and case studies ad nauseum. So just look it up. Go to my channel, type in guest post. You should be able to find it. Go to Niche Site Project. There's a search bar, type in guest post. You'll probably find several references that are super helpful. All right. EB says, am I using Amazon International, or does it depend on what type of site or location? You got a message say you could be making a certain amount. If you did and it got you excited, but you don't know, blah, 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 and it sounds like a major project. I do a little bit. The majority of my traffic for most of my sites is in the US, but I'm making probably like a little under $1,000 a month from other programs. So nothing to sneeze at, right? It's useful. But if you check out the traffic that you get from some of the international sites or international regions where Amazon is out there, then Amazon Associates, I'm not forming full sentences here, but where Amazon Associates is available, you potentially could make more money. So it's worth looking at. It's not really that hard. I personally use one link, which is, some people say they don't trust it. It seems to be working fine for me and my sites. And recently, I think in the last week or so, Amazon rolled out a like a global view. So it aggregates the earnings from your international associates programs. They didn't have that in place before, but they do now. Previously, you had to log in everywhere, but now it's all sort of linked up. And basically, you just have to sign in and create the account, put in the same sort of information, and it's all linked up. So that's relatively good. Hi says you're getting AMP errors from Google, and it can negatively impact your ratings. Your posts have moved to the 70 plus range. Anyone know if an AMP error could hit my search that bad? Potentially. Maybe. Yeah. I would say, without knowing much about AMP at all, if you literally got a message that said that there were errors and that it could impact your rankings, and then your rankings went down, I don't know. That seems like it's it, right? It's the most obvious thing. So I would probably have a look at it. Mr. Epic, what's up? You caught me live. Fantastic. Quick reminder, give a thumbs up. It looks like we got a handful more people. The crowd grows slowly with these notifications that may or may not come out. If you want to make sure you do get the notifications, you can click the notification, the bell on my channel, and that will hopefully get you those notifications. Additionally, I try and schedule these sessions ahead of time, at least a couple days ahead of time. And if you go to my channel, you should see it's scheduled, and then you can click set reminder, and it'll set a reminder for you. So I think that is probably the best way to not miss it. All right. Duke says, personally, any link building you do now, I only do if you think that link will send traffic to your site. You're seeing a correlation that links that are sending traffic move the needle. And yes, I agree with that 100%. I do more than just that, but I think that is like the the best like metric that you could look at. Um, when I think this is sort of publicized as well at this point, but like if you have a private blog network, which is against the Google terms of service, don't recommend it. But if you have a PBN that actually has traffic and can send traffic from a certain post to your site, that is going to be way more valuable than just a link from a highly rated site. And like you said, Duke, there's a correlation. If you're getting referral traffic, that's going to be much better. Okay, so we have the chat jumping around here. Epic says that Amazon banned your account again. That sucks. Sorry to hear it. And as I'm looking down, just looking, making sure everything's cool. So as I mentioned, I ordered a Zoom H4n Pro. But one thing I've been doing recently, especially for like tech items like that, I buy stuff used on eBay. And I recently got a new lens here. It's a Sigma. It's kind of hard to see. It's a Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter f1.8. And this is a super nice lens. And the cool thing is it's Sigma. So it's off brand, but these Sigma art lenses are really high quality. They're a little more expensive than the like economic budget Sigmas that have been out there for all the camera geeks. But the f1.8, like, it's really good in low light and does a great job throwing the background out of focus. So I've only used it a couple times, and it's been great. So I bought that used on eBay. It came like in the box, and it looked like someone took really good care of it. And I mean, it looks brand new. It didn't have any fingerprints or any handling marks or anything like that. Spotless. Additionally, I ordered that Zoom H4 to do podcast recording, and I think it's going to be like immaculate as well. So it had some accessories with it, like a remote and like all the normal stuff. Has this manual. I don't think it has the box, but in general, you can get huge discounts, especially again for tech items. People generally take care of, especially like a camera lens. It's going to be in great shape. So I think I got the H4n for about I think I got it for $89. Swooped in there and sniped it. They can go for a little cheaper, but I think brand new. Someone can let us know. I mean, I think it's around $200. So I got it for less than half off. And I literally put in my bid with like 1 second left because I was like, I'm not really sure, but if I can get it for $90. So I put it in with 1 second left, and yeah, sniped it right in there. Okay. The cool part, like I said, is I'll be able to plug in my two XLR mics into the H4n, record without having to have my laptop connected. So it gives a little more flexibility on where I can record exactly, and just to be able to like use the laptop without fear of screwing up the recording while I'm doing it. So, okay. Going back to the chat here. So Epic says you tried to email Amazon again and you're finding a different affiliate network. It's really frustrating. It's making $1,000 per month from Amazon. They really let the dogs out this holiday. Interesting. So the thing is, you're mentioning they dislike those call to action buttons. They don't like your site. You're not in the course, but can I help you out? Yeah, so you can hire me for coaching. If you go to nichesiteproject.com/hire-me, you can get information. And my hunch is if you're making, or if you were making $1,000 a month, then it's definitely well worth the effort to have someone consult with you on, what the issue was. If you know it was the buttons, then remove the buttons. So not epic advice there at all, but if they don't like the buttons, get rid of the buttons. If you have been blacklisted, I have heard this, right? You can get blacklisted in basically anything, and you try and reapply and they know it's you, you're going to have an issue. So even if you're not violating anything anymore, you can be blacklisted and they don't have to let you in. They could just see, oh, you were associated with this site. Boom, you're gone. So if that is the case, then what you can do is create another business. You have to create an entity, right? You have to get an EIN number and then an address or whatever, and then you can apply. So that is the alternative. So if you still need help after that, then you can sign up for coaching. More information on my site. Oh, and Wrestling Empire says you left a thumbs up. Thanks. I appreciate it. And thanks for encouraging people to also leave other thumbs ups. Livestream says you met your threshold on Amazon. Which day in the month do they send the payment? You have to get your pay by direct transfer. Okay. So this is one of those where I don't remember off the top of my head. Usually, here's the general idea. You're going to get paid 60 days after the month. So for and it's at the end of the month. Usually it's like within the last 2 to 3 days of the month. So if you made your money in October, we'll just say October. If you made your money in October, you won't get the payment until the end of December. All right. So full month ends October 31st. You won't get your payment probably until December 31st. So it's around 60 days after. Oh, and Marty is on. What's up? And Marty adds some credibility here to my hour of coaching. You said you should buy an hour of Doug's time and then you can get advice that you can take action on immediately. Yeah. All right. Grav says, is it possible to monetize a career/education niche site using affiliates? Potentially. I think it would be harder. You would probably need a lot of traffic, and generally, I would suggest instead of trying to force the square into the round peg here, or the square into the round, you know the analogy. So don't try and force something that's not going to work. Instead, if you have an education/career site, you should probably look at like offering some education or some consulting around career advice. You can look at here's some ideas. Here's business ideas you can use. You can review people's resumes. You can do mock interviews. You can help someone, figure out how to approach like finding jobs, right? So you could help them narrow it down. You could help them figure out what they like. And I would guess that's a much better match than trying to sell someone products if they're trying to learn about like career and stuff like that. Oh, wow. One more chatter here. Okay. I got to get back to it here. Wrestling Empire says, does the KGR work on other search engines too? You're only getting traffic from other search engines. So if you're wondering if it works, I don't know. I would focus on Google, and then if the other traffic, if that's working, great. But none of the metrics or descriptions or anything that I describe in the keyword golden ratio are going to apply directly. It would require you would have to port it over. You'd have to port it over there. So I would just focus on Google though. Tima says you're leaning towards the algorithmic issue rather than the site, rather than the theme rather. Okay. Okay, and Mr. Epic says you have no funds for now. You didn't get your Amazon checks. Okay. Oh, and Blacksmith said that you hit the bell icon previously, but the notification didn't appear until a half hour into the video. I have heard this, and I think it's weird. It's inconsistent. EB says it's ballsy to buy a Sigma lens used. You bought a new 120 to 300, and after the warranty expired, the zoom and the focus started getting stuck, and hopefully the new ones are better. I think they are. Like, this is the nicest lens that I've ever had. And it's like much heavier. Really, it's part of the art series. And yeah, it feels like much more I don't know what word, like meteor, like the focusing ring and the zoom ring have like a really nice Georgie is warning us that maybe a package is going to be delivered here. Hey, everything's cool, girl. Hey. So anyway, this lens is great. I hope there's no issues. I would definitely be sad about that. And I've lost my zone here. Okay. Matthew, oh, what's up? It's been a while. You are saying that a lot of people have had to have their checks reissued. The check got there late. Okay, yeah, I've heard that too. I think it was a one-off case, though. One-off case. How does Amazon pay people who don't live in the US? They send checks, but do we have to have a bank account in the US or what? So I live in the US, so I don't know the answer to that specifically. But I imagine you can cash your US check at a bank, and then you'll have to pay some fee for the exchange, right? So a bank should be able to do it, and it may cost some money. All right. Tima is telling us more about the details. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But for other people out there, Tima says you just remembered that traffic doubled for a week before it dropped, and then it dropped even more. So it went from 800 to 4,000, and by my math, that is more than doubled. All right, that's a little more than doubled, and then it dropped to 2 to 300. Interesting. Okay. Marty says, I picked up a Canon Vixia digital recorder, a lapel mic, and you'll have tripods bought today. That's great. Are you going to be doing, you're doing live product reviews corresponding to in-depth posts. That's going to be fantastic. That's really good. Nice. That's exciting. And Pastor Duke does tell Tima, it sounds like you got hit by one of the algorithm updates that happened in August. There have been 4 or 5. Yep, there have been several of them. What general niche was it in there, Tima? Wesley says, Google your question. Yeah, Wesley, thank you for writing this. It says, step 1, Google your question. Try for 30 minutes to find an answer. If you don't find it, step 2, ask a mentor or expert. Don't skip step 1. And I will go further. If you go to the FAQ section on Niche Site Project, if you want to have a little laugh and hear how I'm a jerk sometimes, there's a whole section on finding answers when you have questions. It's a couple hundred words long, and I highly suggest you look for it. One of the highest correlations that I've seen with being successful for people working online when they're trying to start something on the side is being able to find the answer to questions on your own. Yes, I realize the irony here. These Q&A sessions are literally here so that I can answer questions for people. And sometimes we have some really good questions. Sometimes, honestly, today, some of the questions have been pretty good. But here's the deal. On these sessions, if you're asking a question that you can literally Google, that's not great. That's not great. Like, Amazon has so much information on the Associates program, and it's pretty clear in most cases. I mean, you can Google like Amazon Associate, something, something, something. And like they probably have a page on it, right? So you can look up a lot of stuff. And if you look it up and you still have a question, your question will be better informed when you do ask someone that's an expert or someone that just knows a little bit more than you. So, Wesley, great point. Don't skip step one. In fact, you should add like step one, A, B, C, D, where you check with like a few other places before you ask someone else. Duke says, career and education, there's an affiliate program for classes on big class sites. Okay, cool. David says there's authority, niche, and micro niche, right? I disagree with that. How would we define a niche and a micro niche site? I don't define any of them. So it's totally up to you. You can define them however you want. And I don't have a strong opinion. And I think when you start talking about authority versus niche and stuff, really you're just talking about an affiliate site. People apply arbitrary definitions, and you should just ask for people to clarify what they're actually talking about. Matthew says, since August, you have been going through a roller coaster in the health niche. You've had drops and recoveries in the last few months. It's crazy. Yeah, I've heard of that. And Marty says you're also going to talk about the 5-figure niche site course and the general topics for affiliate site beginners. Will keep me posted. Love to have you back on the channel just to catch up with you. I know we exchanged a couple emails, but basically, yeah, just let me know. Happy to help you out in any way, man. All right. Going through here. And Marty also says, Doug makes a great point. You're seeing more and more that being proactive is what success requires. They go out and find answers to questions or problems. Yes, indeed. And I think a lot of times you're not going to find a really clear answer. And sometimes you have to like try something and kind of mess up and then adjust and get a little closer. So it's definitely like all this stuff that we're talking about is definitely like you have to make decisions with incomplete information, maybe incorrect information as well. When you're looking at the information you may get about affiliate marketing, or maybe you saw a video by like the deadbeat super affiliate, that guy, and you're like, I don't know, like if that sounds quite right. And then you try it and maybe it doesn't work exactly, but you take what you learned and then you figure out to not do that stuff that's not working, and then to do more of the stuff that is working. That's great. Okay. All right. Let me look at my notes and see if anything else is going on. Wrote that down. That's great. All right. So couple cool things. I believe that I'm going to be doing more of like the questions that we got in here today, right? Similar to this, there are tons of questions on many videos, and I highly encourage people, if you're watching now or later, or if you enjoy the videos, to leave comments, ask questions, especially to these Q&A videos. I will try to do more videos where I give you a shout out. So I'll show the question that you ask, and I'm like, hey, in this example here today, I'm like, Karim Mohamed asked about paying for guest posts, and I'll like talk about that for a little while. You'll notice a video that I released this past Monday. I did that exactly, right? So gave somebody a shout out, highlighted it. I think they're good questions. If you have a question, even if it's a frequently asked one, if you ask it, it definitely means that other people have had that question before too. And it doesn't, I know Wesley made the point, and I also jumped at the chance to talk about asking questions and trying to find answers. The questions just get better if you're looking for more details. And it could be a common question, but if you can layer on some of those other details. So I'm going to be trying to do more of those with my new lens here, and just try and do a lot of the same stuff. Additionally, I've talked a lot about a podcast, and I've been thinking more and more about it, like the stuff that I want to be working on early next year. And I am doing the podcast with my wife, Survive the 9 to 5. Check it out, leave a review, it'd be awesome. However, we don't geek out, or I don't geek out on affiliate marketing, on SEO, and some of the topics that we go over here. So I'm feeling the urge to launch one of those or another podcast where I can geek out on affiliate marketing, go deep into keyword research, have success stories where I interview people, have like the founders of tools and other experts in the industry where I could interview them and talk to them about whatever thing they're an expert in, of course. So I'm looking forward to getting that going. So I haven't like fully committed, but I brainstormed for like a half hour this morning, and I just had so many ideas on where it could go. And I know, podcasts basically are what got me started in internet marketing. So highly interested in that. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions here before we jet. Definitely slowed down here. So Marty's going to keep me posted. Okay, Tima says it's the legal niche. Yeah, that sounds kind of like some of these updates recently. And yeah, it sounds like it's algorithm related, and it just happened to be similar timing with when you changed your theme. So I would potentially just stick with it and try and add some of those authority credentials to your site, add more trust. There's a lot of ways you can go about it. I don't believe it's going to be a quick fix, but if you were doing really well, it seems like you were getting quite a bit of traffic, like it may be worthwhile to try and recover it. So, and from what Matthew said, there's been ups and downs, and like this stuff is tweaked quite a bit. So Marty says, don't forget to check out Doug's course. It's very valuable and allowed you to get to about 1K per month. It works. It paid for itself. Fantastic. Thanks, Marty. Really appreciate that. Yeah, let's talk soon. Figure out the right way to help you out, get your channel going, and all that stuff. So, all right, I think that's it. Any last questions here? I'll finish drinking my coffee here just for a minute. Paid for itself. Awesome. Very cool. Oh, Grant's on. Happy Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And let's see. And you know what? I have been getting so many of the Black Friday deals. How do people feel about all the Black Friday deals? And I was thinking, I sent an email yesterday, right? I was planning on it anyway, but I'm just like, there's no time off. Like anyone that was running like big deals and all that stuff, they sent out emails like for the last week. They sent one out yesterday, and they're like, okay, it's live, which from a launching perspective, like that is the right thing to do. But here's the thing I forgot to talk about. So I don't do any Black Friday deals. A couple years ago, I think maybe I did one for a specific product that I was launching, but I don't do Black Friday deals on my products. And here's why. Totally forgot about this. So let's say you bought the 5-figure niche site course 2 weeks ago. And then I decided I'm going to do a Black Friday sale today, and it's like 50% off. Not cool to all the customers who paid full price, who believed in me, not when it was on sale. And now they're being penalized, and other people who waited and procrastinated and maybe didn't think it was valuable, and they didn't want to buy it. And I'm not going to punish the people who like me. Further, I try not to discount stuff. So I don't want people trained that I'm going to discount something And I'm not going to, I mean, it's a race to the bottom, right? So if other courses or other products are like offering really low rates and you're making your decision based on how cheap it is, it's not a good thing for me to compete for, I don't think. I want you to think, hey, whatever I'm offering is so valuable that you're happy to pay, um, you know, the price that I'm asking because you're getting so much value from it. Like, thank God, Marty chimed in and said, hey, the course paid for itself. Definitely not easy. Marty interviewed on the channel, of course. If you haven't seen the interview, go check it out. But yeah, I don't give discounts and I don't run crazy sales where I'm punishing like the best people that I want to work with who believed in me and wanted to buy something at full price. So that's why I don't do sales. There are good sales out there. And some of the people are my friends. Some of them I know personally. Some of them are services I believe in. And if like SiteGround, for example, like I've moved over to SiteGround. I've moved a lot of stuff over to SiteGround. And if you're looking for hosting, it's a great way to go, but I'm trying not to send too many emails on it. So anyway, thanks everyone. We'll catch you next time. Have a great rest of the day. And, hopefully Black Friday is going well for everybody. All right. See ya.